afternoon. My name is Shiva Singh. The last name Singh means lion, and the first name means Ladu, Lord, Lord of the Lions. But that's what they say, but I don't claim to be anything like that. But one thing that I really wanted to talk about is honesty. Honest.
Honesty.
Honesty. Does that mean I wasn't honest before? I was a salesman one time. And one time I went out to make the sales, and one of the pitches, I went with the manager. The manager did observe my performance as a salesman, and I dropped a couple of names, and in one of the chats I said, in all honesty, and somehow by hook or by crook, I closed the sale anyway. It was a signed deal, but on the way back to the office, the manager, he didn't even yell at me, or we were nice. He said, I don't ever want to hear you drop a name or say in all honesty again. And I was wondering why. And he didn't say anything until we got to the office, and I asked him why. He said, well, when you drop a name, you don't know the relationship with that person, that name, and the client. And I said, wow. And then I said, in all honesty, to be honest, and he said, don't use those words again because it's saying, well, I wasn't honest before. So the reason why I say that is how we were raised to be honest, to be honorable, to be forthcoming and transparent and not be deceitful. And I started to lie and be deceitful from the day I was born. Then we had all these Hollywood movies like Ben-Hur and The Robe and Anthony and Cleopatra, and then all these English movies, and it was all about being honorable and not be deceiving. And I said, wow. So we grew up in that mentality, being colonialized under the British, and then coming from an Indian background as indentured laborers, and how they raised us in our home. And then we went to these colonial schools and teachings, and they taught us how to be honorable and honest. And so So yeah, so me and my brothers and my sisters and siblings and cousins and almost everybody grew up with that mentality of what honor and honesty and respect and manners meant to be. We were under the impression how they molded that mentality in the colonial society and also in the indentured laborship society, how the Indian families raised their children. And then my grandmother was Indian, from Biharis, grew up in Holland, and she spoke also Dutch. And she was very, I always looked at her as very honorable, you know, takaranat, strong. And my grandfather and my mom and dad and all my uncles and aunts, how they were very confident because they have had that mixture of culture. But then I had a maid, a nanny, and she started working for our family when she was like 14 years old. So she saw my mom born, she saw us born, she raised us, helped raise us. And then one day I remember I went up to my grandma's room and she was there and she was speaking to one of my aunts in Dutch. And then the maid nanny asked her something and she replied in Dutch. And the nanny said, um, I don't understand what you're saying. And my grandma said, well, you're a damn fool. You've been in it all these years and you haven't learned to speak Dutch. And all the people that worked in the house, in the kitchen, in the pantry, taking care of the wood, spoke Dutch. They learned the language. And then at the tail end of it, she started to hurry up to learn something, but then eventually she learned. She picked it up. So that's one of the things I want to talk about is in, in the daily life, how do you become honorable and good manners? But nobody at the top, or nobody gets to the top with being crooked. So lying is like second nature. It's very, very easy to lie, very, very hard to tell the truth. And then you say, well, what is the truth? And then that becomes a question and a question. And then you say, well, what's dishonest? So,
Rolling.
yeah, so all in all is that you can be anything you want to be if you can perceive it and conceive it. So you put these two ladders together, even if they're the same color, they're twins, but they're not alike as twins. Because even though they might have the same mentality, there's one ingram in there that idiosyncrasy, a habit that doesn't go together. So if you expound a lot of energy in dark things and violent things and wicked things and deceitful things, then it contaminates its surroundings and influences surroundings. And then it doesn't give you a chance to be at peace with yourself. And then because you're not at peace with yourself, you're not at peace with anything. And because you're not at peace with yourself, anything doesn't want to be peaceful because they thrive on and grow on viruses. So the virus and viruses, sure, it's a bacterial, it travels, but it's also a mental virus. So there's something there. It doesn't have to be your enemy because it's not the virus's fault. The virus is hungry, and the virus will eat anything that it sees. But it so happens that where we are start looking at other people to see how we can eat them, and that should be uh, thought of seriously because it's like somebody said to one of my friends, what gives Shiva the right to do what he's doing? And the guy happened to be in a meeting where we were together, and I mentioned it. I said, well, let me ask you, what gives me a right to live or to take a piss or a shit? So nobody really gives you a right to do anything and do whatever you want to do. But as long as you are right with it and your consciousness of a creator you believe in him, she or it. Because even though it's one spirit, it's spiced into so many things, even the wood that we sit on, which has a life too. The metal, everything you can think about has a life. So that's why all life matters. But we're not at that level, and it's going to take centuries and decades for us to arrive at that level. So these paths and these walks of life is just a discipline and how obedient are you. Because you cannot achieve anything with obedience to yourself. You have to be obedient. You know, and the reason I'm saying that is because throughout my life, in a lot of ways, I was crooked, very crooked, and manipulative, and pretentious, and trying to be something I wasn't. But then it caught up with me, and then it gave me a choice. You know, I said, "Well, wow, you know, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me for all you." I could say, "Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me." But what I'm asking for forgiveness for, I didn't do anything wrong. Just don't do it again. But if you don't change, you can talk all you want. But if you really want something else, change by doing the things. So then you will become this reflection, and this energy will reflect, uh, attract like kind. But every once in a while, a like kind, unlike kind comes in and try to slip through the cracks. But you don't let it shatter you. Don't let it fuck your life condition up. Be steady and strong, and every once in a while you get nervous too. I get nervous. You know, to be careful what you say and who you see, even with your family and your friends, because they get very offensive if you might say something. And then sometimes I find it very hard for me to say something that's not derogatory. And there's a lot of things I would like to say, and I don't have the articulation to write it. Let's just say it. Um, but, so when I was growing up, they used to call me lebe lebe. In Portuguese, it means stupid, dumb. And I always grew up as an introvert, and I had all these bad thoughts of the success of my friends and family could be musicians or writers or whatever. And then I switched off to manual sports. And then even though I would want to be on the top, I was never really on the top. And the reason why is I didn't have obedience and discipline. Because you might learn a technique with how you're going to execute the technique, self-control. And if you don't have self-control, you're going to hurt yourself because you're going to get ahead of yourself. So every once in a while, it's good to backslide a little bit and come forward again and pick up any sort of information or data that you might have missed. And then you will see how long your story is. And you keep going until you can laugh about it, you can joke about it. You say, what a crazy fuck I was. So what it really is doing is reducing that emotional charge. So you really can't release it all by exercising or sweating or eating medicine. So you have to sort of talk about it. So you talk to the grandfather, with the grandmother, or the creator, or you know him or it. Communicate what's in your heart. You know, sometimes you get all this intention that our heart is really here. Well, no, it's up here. You know, why up here needs up here is because here is the pump. This is the one that gives it life and oxygen. Depends on the heart. But and everything you do things, then the mind said, the heart says, I don't want to die. So then it will punish something to bring your attention. And it could be costly, but then you could make something out of it. You know, stamina and endurance. And take the rain and the storm and let it roll off your back. So that's how you become stronger, because when the water rolls off your back, it sort of sandpaper, it smooths you out because it's keeping all this sweat, this emotion. You know, and then you start to see something, you start to see the spirituality of it. Of course, there are restrictions and things you can do and things you can't do. But it makes sense. Because if you do that, then when you really do what you want to do, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to, on an ecstasy level, you know. For right now, I'm going to talk later.
Alright, keep talking.
But there's nice ice cold lemonade and blueberry
Oh,
lemonade.
that's cool. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to chill out a little bit. I think I need a little break.
You think?
I don't mind hanging out with you beautiful ladies. Sometimes I get flattered when you women pay attention to me, and I'm not saying, shit, do I deserve this?
Aww.
And then I'm saying, well, I'm probably deserving to them because they're saying and doing all these kind things about me. And even Quality, this one medicine man told me on the phone, like yesterday or the day before, that people say all these good things about you. And I'm saying, wow. And then he said, well, I hope you're saying good things about me. And I laughed. I said, well, I honor you and speak highly of you when I have a chance, but I don't need you to validate what I'm doing, you know. But these men are of compassion and understanding. They know things that we don't know or dream of knowing. And they're very wise old men. I mean, and Danny Gallardo and the Shorty and Coral, honorable, I feel that they are. So yeah. Arigaru, 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 parigara, aragaru, arigaru, arigaru. So, I found out over time of practice that I'm not as good as I thought I was. And the reason for that is that there are troubled people in my family, physically and mentally, and there are troubled people among my friends that physically and mentally. And then I consider how troubled I am physically and mentally too. So when I pray, I don't pray for people. I think I pray for myself. But the Creator is saying, pray for yourself and be strong. So when you really go to the Creator to help people, you are strong. But it might sound contradictory, but when you look at it this way, when you're ill, physically or mentally, then you realize the struggle and the stamina and the endurance you need to help other people. But the whole idea of helping other people is that one day they might be able to help you and they can help others. So, to speak of ego, I'm very egotistical myself, and I acknowledge that. And over the years, I start to realize, oh shit, I lost a lot of family and friends because of my ego. But it was only time for me to realize that I don't really need it. and I never really attracted a lot of beautiful people like I do now. And back in the day, because I was so serious and so rigid and so stagnated to accept change, so disciplined. And then I realized by practice, you don't really need much to communicate with the creator, because a song wouldn't help you really. It will just clear the head to get you tuned up to receive the divine force, and then you look now at how powerful not you but the Shakti is. So, yeah, so the creator says only pray to me one time for something. One time. Because if you keep praying about the same thing over and over and you don't do anything, you don't have to accomplish anything, you just do something. And you go to the creator, you pray about that, then you pray for something else. Because look at this asshole. He hasn't even tried to take care of the first prayer. Why the hell are you trying to get another prayer? So that's why it's best just to pray. And sometimes what will really, really help is you talk to the creator. Like I'm talking to you now. What do you need? Where are you at? What are you going to do about it? You ask the creator for guidance. That's why we say Wahi Guru. So Guru is the remover of darkness, the remover of ignorance. So considering how ignorant we are, you might surprise yourself and figure out how not ignorant you are. Because you have your heads on your shoulder, you have a sound mind and body. You can do everything you want. But then what you're going to do when you get it? So it's easy to get something, but to keep it, how are you going to keep this thing? How are you going to... arigato, 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 arigato. Creator, I ask you with all humility and humbleness and pity that whatever it is out there stalking us, whether here on earth or in heaven, or whatever you want to call it, in heaven, I ask you, you remove it. And you remove it 100%. So let it eat itself out. Please, I ask you. And only you have that power to remove, whether it's an evil force or a good force. So I know that you have that power, that you can change poison into medicine. And they say in the Lotus Sutra. So on the ceremony in the sky, so how am I doing? So, I thought that it was a plea, and I thought that I would come out here and do this video and change something. And then I realized it's never going to change. It's always going to be the same, but you can improve it, you can enhance it, you can make it evolve into something better in the way that you got it, as long as you keep it that way, like that there. Namah Shivaya, 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 Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya, 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 Namah Shivaya. I asked the Creator, in a good way, to remove this mental illness, this virus has given me, to remove it, to conquer myself, my enemy, my friend, to conquer it, because it doesn't matter how much we try to do something, we're gonna do it anyway. So just do it. And then there's a price to pay. So when I was a little boy, my elders would smack me on my face, my ear, and they would hold it like this, and they would shake it. And it was a signal of love, but it was a signal of this body don't hear none. And if I had listened to my elders, my parents and stuff, I wouldn't be where I am today. But the fact that I am here where I am today is because I listened. I was forced to listen. Did give me an option, but I chose that option not through obligation or tradition or heritage or nothing like that. But that was the beam that I wanted to be on. The beam kept me on there and showed me the light. So then that's why I decided and discovered today, chanting Om Namah Shivaya, is that I have not conquered honesty. Because it's very hard to achieve something without being dishonest. And then I saw this movie, some gangster movie, it was Al Pacino, and lied, and he said, even when I lie, I speak the truth because it's from my heart. And I was like, oh shit. So that's why I said earlier how Hollywood and Ben-Hur and Moses and all of that, they sold us on discipline and obedience and discipline and honor. And we grew up with that thought because the movie portrayed that. Apababde kay to ay nagkenang maminang kay iyon ang kaya kataw away wano iyo apababde kay to ay nagkenang maminang kay iyon ang kaya kataw away wano iyo apababde kay to ay nagkenang maminang kay iyon ang kaya kataw away wano iyo apapapda kay to ay kaday manindig kay yanahin ang katang kaya kataw ay wala uwi apapapda kay to ay kaday manindig kay you sure who you are you sure who you are you sure who you are. So it is true that when you pray like a baby, so idols, we would say, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder who you are. But when you pray like a baby, you get instantaneous attention from the Creator because the Creator is reaching out to his or her child that needs help. So by singing it like that, in a baby fashion, you get the Creator's instantaneous attention. So just like they say in Hinduism, there's Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and light, and then there's Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. So I watched a seminar many, many years ago with this guy Deepak Chopra, and one of his languages was about them and the affluence of life is to pay attention to Saraswati, and then you're really going to get the attention of Lakshmi, and she's going to give you everything and anything that you need just to get your attention. But the danger in it is that you don't want to get cocky with her because she'll take it away faster than she gave it to you. But it's not that she's taking away something, you're giving away something. You're giving away something that's not really yours. But I've learned over the years, in a lifetime, from friends, relatives, from ancestors, people in the military, the politicians, and it doesn't matter how they are, that is their teachings. Somehow, if you want to follow it or adopt it, is your choice. But the point is that the God Creator doesn't want to be glorified. The Creator wants to be silent because it gives the silence even more Shakti. But if everywhere that you go there is Shakti, but sometimes the Shakti can get away from you. So don't let it get away from you. Contain it. Because if you don't, it can get you into a lot of trouble, mental and physical trouble, because then that knowledge fell into the wrong hands. They really don't know what to do with it. But they do because they're doing something with it. But then the Creator might say, well, that's not really enough. There's a lot more to go with it. And I'm trying to figure that out too, because I'm like saying I'm doing all this, but then nobody really taught me or showed me just the basics, and everything the medicine showed me what to do. And I'm like saying, wow, now I can see why I will listen to the medicine. This is why I realize now to listen to your elderly, your parents, your friends. Don't dismiss their opinion. Think about it. So yeah, I don't really know how to be honest anymore because I want to be honest. My nature is to be honest. And then if I'm too honest, then I don't want to be felt as though I'm trying to buy something or I want something or anytime I engage with something, I want something or you're going to give me something. And then I don't want to give anybody anything, nothing, because I don't own it and it doesn't own me. And these songs, Pacodaya Arteyam Burbura Swaha Tatabitu Barenyam Baragurera Vasyadimahi Diyo Yona Pacodaya Arteyam Burbura Swaha Tatabitu Barenyam Baragurera Vasyadimahi Diyo Yona Pacodaya Ateyam Burbura Swaha Tatabitu Barenyam Baragurera Vasyadimahi Diyo Yona Pacodaya Ateyam Burbura Swaha Tatabitu Barenyam Baragurera Vasyadimahi Diyo Yona Pacodaya Ateyam. So basically, that's the only thing really I know in Hinduism. I grew up with it, and it was like drilled into our head. The Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhur Bhur. So they say Om Bhur Bhur Om Bhur Bhur Bhur, older than old. And how old? So how Bhur Bhur Swaha, it travels down into the earth, and when it comes up, it says Bhur Bhur twice. So like it goes up into the sky and it comes down into the earth and it sails up and it's about to emerge, it says Bur. And then just as it emerges, it says Bur Bur. I mean, that's what I was told. So I sing with those intentions in mind. But that doesn't mean the singer or sing along with me has to be that intention. It's their own intention. So you don't really learn anything from me. You learn it from yourself, from how you engage with the Creator. So it's like dancing with that energy. Parvati Jam Shakti Jai Ananda Gorima Bhagavati Yam Shakti Namah Shiva,
Namah Shiva,
Namah Shiva, Bhagavati Yam
Namah Shiva, Namah Shivaya. Bhagavati Yam
Namah Shiva,
Namah Shiva,
Namah
Namah
Shiva, Garima Bhagavati Yam Shakti So Creator, I just ask you for your guidance and your help. Somehow, some way, I know you can help us. You know, it takes a lot of resources to make things happen, energy-wise, labor-wise, ideas, ingenuity, enthusiasm, and you can't invoke it or you can't plague somebody with it. Something has to be your own free mind and body. So I'm gonna move on, move forward, you know, and try to be as honorable as I can, but I don't know how honest I can be. You know, sometimes things force of circumstances forces to be dishonest, and then we get eaten out by the thought sooner or later down the line, like a cancer. It just plucks away our energy, knowing that it's throwing a guilt on us, a guilt trip. But there's nothing you can do about the past, even if you do something that's not right. I mean, as long as it was necessary, or was life and death situation or a survival mode, you know, to survive. You know, like the man to survive, there was a time and there was only like 2,500 humans on Earth to somehow survive and multiply and become multiple. So yeah, alright, take a break. Yanay no yanawe, 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 yanay Yanoy no nawe Yanoy no yanawe Yanoy no yanawe Yanoy no nawa Yanayoy Yanawe Yanayoy Yanawe Yanayoy no Nawa Yanayoy no Yanawe Yanayoy no Yanawe Yanawe no Yanawe Yanayoy 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 no Yanawe Yanawe Yanayoy no Yanawe Yanayoy no Yanawe Yanayoy no Yanawe Yanayoy I really don't know what it means, but I just sing it.
This is the drive.
But you said you wanted to say something.
Oh, I always have a bunch of questions while you're talking.
So go ahead.
What was I thinking? I don't know, I was thinking about prayer and how I still feel like I don't know how to pray after all this time.
That you said in this episode that you just talk. You just talk to the Creator like you talk to,
Yeah.
right?
That's what's on my mind. Like, I want to be closer to God. I really do. I want to have the Creator, like, in my mind, in my consciousness throughout my day. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And I think the way is what you're saying. Just don't be intimidated, you know? Just talk to him or her or whoever.
Now you don't have to be intimidated
Okay, so let me...
because consciousness is a part of you. Being conscious of something, anything. But the thing is that you are conscious of whatever it is, whether it is light or darkness. It is all the same thing. Because there is light in the darkness, and then there's light in the light. So easy to see the light in the light, or the light in the darkness. But when you can really see the light in the light, like you can see light in light, that is very, very complementary, not very powerful. Nothing is powerful. It's how it complements each other, like a machine.
Does that answer your question?
Well, it's very interesting. Seeing the light in the light is harder, I think, than seeing the light in the dark.
Yeah, well, in the dark, it's very easy to see the light because it shines in the dark. But then you want to see the light in light, the light. So when the light shines,
Right.
it complements what you're thinking, and it show to be always in the light, because darkness is a fear, but it's also a creation of a negative element. But then the positivity in what you do, how you take that strand and then stretch it and say, well, I'm gonna stretch this out to the end, and make sure that there's resemblance of something that you're covering, because you have to cover something for you to achieve that knowledge of how I wanna protect this rice and take home for my family and feed them. You're already starting to develop this consciousness of your survival of the fittest. But every day is always going to be a challenge, no matter what do you do. Anything. No vacation with the Creator, even when you stay in the equation of the Creator, and you start to realize there's nothing about creation without Creator. You can't do it all by yourself. And the reason why is so this creation of energy, Shakti, um, helps to sharpen you up and polish you and your thought and make you not strong. So anything that you do, you need the dexterity of being strong, whether physically or spiritually or something. So then that instills, no, but it develops this confidence, this lack of fear, having no doubt that you can step anywhere you want to step, but the key is to stay on that one beam and maybe study it and learn, become a part of that strand of that energy the Creator is wanting to offer us. And like I said, it's easy to receive. How are you going to keep this thing? So all I can say for what I would do for myself is try to take care of it a little bit at a time. You don't take care of it all at one time, then you're going to start missing it, and then right in this back. Take care of it once and for all, and then don't look back, just move on. But anything that you do is a learning. You're always going to be a learning. And sometimes you need to get spanked. Sometimes to really learn. I remember when I was a kid, my elder would thump me in the head, or my teachers, and I'm like, oh shit.
Oh boy.
Spank so many.
Someone.
One.
Spank someone happy.
Should I send you
Could I have a
voice
tobacco?
note, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
spank
I have
someone
an elder
happy.
here who
We're
would be
recording.
really amazing.
No, when I was a kid growing up, I got spanked so many times by my elders. My grandma had this bat, like a cricket bat, and she would spank us in the ass. Not just me, but anybody. And she had this fierce cross look at you. But you learn to speak when you're spoken to, and be seen and not heard. And I sort of digged it. I mean, I sort of appreciated it, but I didn't really take it to heart until I really understood what these idiosyncrasies mean. And then you adapt it and you try to live by it and be it. And then sure, you do for a while, but your passion changes. So, because you are tolerating or accepting to be content with, sort of like a change, with a temporary change, a momentary change. But it don't work like that. Sometimes you need a constant change. Because they say anything in motion will stay in motion until the force is applied. But why you want to apply a force to stop something that's positive energy? So then you start to learn about the two positives and two negatives and polarity and all that stuff. But it's like in music, how our prayer, whether you talk prayer, you sing prayer, you speak prayer, however you want to pray, but it develops a unique style, like sound and vibration, what you create. Don't chant or sing like me. Sing like yourself, how you feel with the Creator, how you're going to communicate with the Creator, how you're going to communicate with yourself. Because remember, you do have a consciousness about it. So you have this consciousness, So how do you be conscious but not conscious? In other words, the consciousness is automatic. There's a self-built-in knowledge, a natural knowledge, a natural law that you have already possess. But these practices just enhances your practice, because to be practice. And then the teacher will say, practice. And the only reason that came about is because once I got kicked in my ass by an opponent, and then I learned, and then I got beaten up so much that then I realized that I really not as good as I thought it was. But I accepted the licking because they said,
Wrong way.
they say, if you want to be a master, you're really good, show me if you can take your licking. Because if you're not willing to accept a cool ass whipping, then you're not gonna really learn anything. Because it's not so much how much you beat yourself up, it's how much you didn't have to beat yourself up. It's all about battering like a garlic or onion, and battering it up to make it a paste. Like earlier with the watermelon, the lime twang, the taste, how it cuts a certain energy off with you're the creator. You can really think with a clear head. Because sometimes the energy of the creator is so powerful it confuses you. And the last thing that you really need is to be converted. Meaning that you really don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to trust anything, just believe it. And then they say, oh, seeing is believing. But you can't see anything, because the more you watch is the less you see. Anyways, that was just some thoughts, But like I said, you're going to do anything you want to do. Just mold yourself into that specific mode at the moment that will really suit you, and stick with it and be persistent and endure the pain and the sweetness from it, and you're going to accomplish unbelievable things. Well, each thing is on an individual basis. You have to be strong individually to do something collectively. Because we always talk about change and change and change. How many fucking times are you going to change?
Right? How many times?
In other words, it's like we didn't work with the first law. Why we need all these laws? And then why should I believe in the laws? Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. How can I deal with that? But me, myself, is a thief and a criminal and a killer. So how do you do that and try to be holy? So I'm not violent because I am violent. I was forced to be violent. And because of that, I'm even afraid of how violent I can be. And I'm even afraid to fight somebody because I know what would happen. We went to Sundance a couple of years ago, and I had a fight with this one woman. And I was about to kick her ass, and we were at a supermarket, and this one friend came in between and stopped it. And it was all about bullshit, because don't talk to me like that, don't talk to me like that. talk to other people like that, and I'm like saying, wow, you know what? It stifled me because I I didn't want to speak the truth. I didn't want to hurt their feelings, but it was starting to resort to violence, and I was like, oh shit, praise the Lord that nothing happened. So I'm afraid. Oh, yeah, that's why I keep my hands in my pocket because it was loose, and then I'm afraid of being a loose cannon. And most of the time, when I become a loose cannon, I assassinate myself. Because then sometimes I don't really have the heart to hurt people. So I'd rather be hurt than other people. And it's sort of selfish. You see what I mean? I'm sort of selfish. But I know it can happen, and I believe in it, that people that have worked with me can achieve individually what I do. They can do it individually in time, but persistence, everything has a time and place. And if the creator calls on you to do something, then it's up to you whether you want to do it or do it. And if it's for you, it will happen. You don't really have to train anything, just practice. Whether you like it or you don't like it, just keep doing it. Keeps you busy, in shape, healthy. You know, but sure, you need physical fitness too, but you need more mental. So you can apply that mentality with suit with a mudra. Then you could go like a far, far away. But when you start to jump from limb to limb, it's going to be not steady. So you need a constant flow, pump as much energy into yourself, but you don't want to do it where you burn yourself out. When I smoke, my thoughts come out. All the things that I want to say.
I know, it's great. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah.
Blown.
Oh, my sister's outside.
Thank you, Shiva.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really.
I mean, you could also create a platform and say, well, I want to create a platform. I want to listen to me too. Why you gotta listen to me? Listen to yourself. And then that helps too by learning to listen from other people too.
Well, you're easy to listen to.